and he needed to be resuscitated. And I am about to on myself. But it was so crazy. Like, now that I'm reading this journal entry now, I'm like, why would I back away from that? Of course, he put my name down. I just saved his life 2-3 weeks prior. Of course, he will put me down for that. But it was just so hard to fathom, because when you are in this new space, when you are really fulfilling purpose and doing what you're supposed to do, and you are in alignment, sometimes, most of the time, not even sometimes, most of the time, it's not going to look like what you thought it was going to look like.
Is it really something, or is it really trusting? 'Cause I can back up all I do.
So if you have been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling like you are a bystander, that you're sitting on the sidelines of your own life waiting for permission to do something, to make that decision, to move, today's video is for you. Welcome to episode 22 of Moments and Momentum. So let's start with that. I am now 32 years old. My birthday was yesterday, June 26th, and I spent it here in South Carolina. I will be going back to Atlanta in a couple of more days, but being home, of course, definitely opened up a lot of emotions. Of course, this is my grounded place, and I want to tell y'all about the revelation that I had the day before my birthday. I'm going to read this journal entry. Dang, these are my last hours as a 31-year-old woman. I've spent so much time telling people I'm about to be 32 that I don't think I've really told people I was 31. Last year, around this time, I was in the hospital watching over my Uncle Derek at Grady Hospital. During this time, it seemed like I was hyper aware of all the energies and spirits around me while trying to understand my own. Life is a big old classroom, and last year was one of the biggest lessons so far. I shedded a pretty thick layer of my false identity. It consisted of pretending and passivity. Here's what it revealed. I received a phone call informing me that if something happened, that if my uncle, went unconscious or died for any reason and could not make a decision for himself, then I would be the person to make the decision to attempt to bring him back to life. My response, are you sure? You sure he didn't say my sister or my cousin, which both are about 10 years, 11 years older than me? Her response, are you Mikeya Murphy? Yes, I am. Then yes, you're the person that he chose. Looking back, it's crazy to see that I was confused about this, considering I was his primary caretaker. When I gave God my yes 2 months prior, I gave it with the expectations of helping him recover, not saving his life in time-sensitive moments. From the time we got to Atlanta to begin his cancer treatments, there was a constant decline. There was a moment he almost died in my arms. I called 911 against his will and without his permission. While we waited, I kept him stable, and a few days later, when he was fully alert, he thanked me for saving his life. So why was I so shocked that he was putting his life in my hands again? What I realized during this caretaking experience is that even though other people trusted me, I didn't trust myself. I trusted God. I was always willing to trust the process, but never myself. I was passive and needing permission up until this moment to be myself, or to be the person I had worked so hard to be, which was and is patient, discerning, strategic, disciplined, practical, sharp, and wise. I knew all of this about myself, but became timid in moments of confrontation and turmoil. Last year, during this time, I lacked a lot of authority. Even spent a lot of time at the beginning of this year wanting to build other people's visions and putting mine on the back burner. My motive was to make money in exchange of my expertise and skills, to make enough money to build something better for myself later. The real motive, like I said before, I didn't trust myself to make money. Didn't trust myself at all, pretending that I wasn't quite ready to be a boss and bet on myself 1000%. But I'm proud to say that since March of this year that I've been fully leaning into who I am and built myself up to be. And I just know my uncle is so proud of me. Here's to cheers to the most valuable lesson in my 31st year of living. Okay. So, you guys, I read this journal entry to you guys because I wanted you all to know what it's been like for me to be on the sidelines of my own life, to wait for permission from other people, to be passive and pretend that I'm not the one who's supposed to be leading, to pretend as though I'm not the one who actually has the authority to change the trajectory of a lot of things and go into a positive direction. Just to go back to that moment of when my uncle almost died in my arms, I want to tell y'all what was happening in that moment. I usually, like my other uncle, he has a huge house. That's where we were staying. It's a 5-bedroom house. And typically I was just, I would just give him his medicine and I would go back upstairs and that would be it. But the house is so big that if I wasn't around my phone or if I wasn't close to my uncle, I wouldn't have been able to hear him if anything was to happen. And instead of just giving him his medicine and just going back upstairs, what I did was I decided, well, something in me or something said, stay downstairs for like 30 more minutes. So I stayed and he went into the bathroom and he didn't come out. And I was wondering, like, what's going on? Long story short, we both thought that he could have possibly been having a stroke, but I was just checking for the symptoms and those symptoms weren't there. But he was losing consciousness, or he was literally, I can't even explain the moment, but he literally looked like he was losing his life and he didn't know what was happening. And I just remember bringing him up into my arms and, just keeping him stable. He did not want me to call 911, like I said in the journal entry. And they confirmed that it wasn't a stroke. They got him to the hospital. By the time he got to the hospital, they said he could have died like in a matter of hours, like 1 or 2 hours. And if I'm not being dramatic, I want to say the lady was like in a matter of minutes, he could have been gone. He was having a pulmonary embolism, which is basically like this huge blood clot that's keeping you from breathing. My biggest concern when I decided to take on this responsibility was, I was like, all right, God, just don't let him have a stroke while I'm down here. And of course, yes, that was because I don't want him to have a stroke. I didn't want anything to happen to him, but it was also because I can't handle that. That's just something that I can't handle. That's just too much for me. That's not what I signed up for. Only for him to experience this and literally be in a life and death situation, and I had to be the one to make the call. I had to be discerning. If I didn't listen to that voice, if I hadn't been practicing listening to the voice prior to this moment, I would have missed the opportunity and he would have been gone sooner. This is why I said I was passive and needing permission up until this moment to be myself or to be the person I had worked so hard to be, which was patient, discerning, strategic, disciplined, practical, sharp, and wise. And all those things were implemented in that moment. What you are doing on a day-to-day basis, or what may seem mundane to you, or what may seem useless to you, is going to be used in moments where nobody else can provide a solution, and you will be the only one to do that because of what you have been conditioning yourself to do in private. There will be moments where you will be the only one who can save the day, and your passivity, your skewed view of yourself, your insecurities cannot get in the way of this moment. You have to make sure that you put those things in check. It's not enough to build the skills. It's not enough to condition yourself to do all of these things, and then when the moment comes, you're not ready to apply them, or you don't want to apply them because the situation is too scary, the situation is too confrontational, this is too much for you, I can't handle that. No, absolutely not. In this situation, I know for a fact that God knew I could handle that, but if he would have gave me too many details prior to, I wouldn't have done it. He had to put me in this situation to show me, look at what you're capable of. But fast forward, here we are, and the woman's calling me saying that, hey, your uncle is basically putting you down as the person who will make the call if something was to happen to him and he needed to be resuscitated. And I am about to on myself. But it was so crazy. Like, now that I'm reading this journal entry now, I'm like, why would I back away from that? Of course he put my name down. I just saved his life 2-3 weeks prior. Of course he will put me down for that. But it was just so hard to fathom, because when you are in this new space, when you are really fulfilling purpose and doing what you're supposed to do, when you are in alignment, sometimes, most of the time, not even sometimes, most of the time, it's not going to look like what you thought it was going to look like. We create this perfect picture of how we are going to prove that we are strong and great and worthy. And then it takes these moments to show us who we really are, even deeper beyond what we thought and how we saw ourselves or how we see ourselves. So for my 31st birthday, or this 32nd birthday, this revelation was gifted to me. I created the space and time to receive it. And I want to say good job. And of course, there's a lot of things that I would have changed and I would have done better in that situation. But at the end of the day, the way I was able to assess myself during the caretaking experience, knowing that I was lacking authority, I realized in this moment, I realized it then, that I was being passive. To what degree, I didn't realize until after the caretaking experience was over and my uncle passed away. I didn't realize how passive I was in other areas of my life. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow. So if you are someone who is in the same boat as me, or was in the same boat as me, because I'm doing a whole lot better, if you have been called to do something, if something is pulling and tugging on you, it might not be this tense, it might not be this position of a caretaker, but if you are in a moment where you feel as though, what do I do? Can I do this? And you're questioning yourself, I'm here to affirm you and confirm that you are indeed equipped and more than ready to be who you need to be. Last week, I said you had to have the audacity. This week, I'm saying you need to have authority. Authority. You want to change the trajectory of your life? Have authority. Don't be a bystander. Don't be on the sidelines of your own life waiting on permission. No, no. All right. So, welcome to Music, Movement, and Motivation, a segment designed to help you to decrease anxiousness, to be present with your body and one with your body by the way of stretching, the motivational tip of the week, and the song of the week, self-produced by me. This video is posted every Sunday at 6 p.m. in the montage video Moments and Momentum, and reposted every Wednesday at 4 p.m. If you feel like, girl, this is not enough, what we did today, then you can always go to my channel, click on this playlist right here, Music, Movement, and Motivation, and binge as much as you need to. Okay, so let's talk about what the stretch is today. We are going to do the butterfly stretch, and basically what we're going to do is put our feet together like this. Yeah, let me clip myself. So we are going to put our feet together like this. We're going to hold, bring it in as far as we can. If you cannot, if it's too hard and you can't bring it in, then don't worry about it. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to start with our feet out as far as possible. And then we're going to bring them in as close to us as possible and hold for 10 seconds. And after we hold for 10 seconds, then we're going to reset for 5. Well, first, what we like to do is we like to intentionally breathe, which means we're going to inhale, hold for 5 seconds, and then release. Okay? Are you ready? Let's begin.
From seed to soil, with water, I grow, with sunlight, I grow, I bloom, and grow, from seed to soil, with water, I grow, my stem, my leaves, my roots, run deep. I wake up in the morning knowing that I am aligned. I'm so aligned. Leaving the past things behind, even the times where I was blind. But now I see that it's all a part of me, not for me to deny. Yeah, I might cry, but I rise. I rise. When people look at me, they see power. They see strength, they see a flower, they see the light, they see the glow. But why should they know? They see me glow. But the pain, the depth, the heart, the nights I wept, they'll never know. When demons crept, but they'll see me grow. They'll see me grow. My roots run deep and they choke out demons. And I perceive them as senseless heathen, I welcome me. 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 Hey you. I know that it's been very, very hard to bloom, but now is the time. No more hiding. No more gaslighting and believing that you aren't who you are. It's time to rise. It's time to shine and inevitably peek through the blinds of the people who have been blind to your greatness. Don't shrink. Don't fold. Don't hide. Just know you've always known. It's true. Your truth. It's time to bloom. It's time to bloom. From seed to soil, with water, I grow, with sunlight, wake up in the morning